You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Cindy Sottleman, and I'll be your hero. Doria, do you remember that time when Lex Luger had that big buster, the call to action campaign when he was being a face in '93?
Oh, yeah. I definitely remember Lex on the bus doing nothing but, be on the bus and sign autographs and be on the bus and shake kids' hands and be on the bus. It's like he was a political candidate or something. And all of this because, he wanted to have that one match with Yokozuna at SummerSlam.
Yep.
Did I spoil everything for everybody?
No, because that was already announced. But we're going to take a look.
It sounded more like you were singing that bad Michael Bolton song.
Well, speaking of Michael Bolton, we're going to talk about that.
I should say the poor man's Michael Bolton. It's probably not the actual one. I don't think Vince McMahon would spend that kind of money.
So, Jim Johnson.
Probably.
All right. So, we're going to talk about Wrestling Challenge from August 29th, 1993, the go-home show to SummerSlam. And joining me on this Greyhound adventure from last time is another hero in her own right, Daria Quinn.
Hello.
So, you ready to go on the bus ride?
I think we're already on the bus ride, Cindy.
So
let's be there.
So let's watch some Wrestling Challenge.
Yay!
We kick off with JR and Bobby Heenan together in the booth.
Ah, thank you. Good commentary.
Yay! Something that's sorely missing. When not doing commentary on Wrestling Challenge, JR and Bobby Heenan have done the Coliseum video stuff. Heenan says that after Yoko gets done with Luger will be changing lug nuts and fixing the buses that he's been riding on in the Motor City.
Bobby Heenan tries. He really does. But some things you just can't save. For instance, Lex Luger.
Yeah, but this is 93 Lex Luger. This isn't peak Lex Luger. This isn't...
Okay, this is when he was still doing the four moves right.
This isn't peak Luger. That was 95, 96. That was peak Luger.
Gotcha.
Afterwards, we get a sneaky plug from the hotline where Heenan blasts Ross for his comments on Jim Cornette. God, the chemistry.
All JR ever had to do was tell the truth.
He actually said that while plugging the hotline.
I know I was saying that pretty much.
Yeah. And this episode of Wrestling Challenge blows its load early because now we get the full video of
You were my
hero!
I'm on a bus and I'm gonna fight Yokozuna
at the palace.
And I hope I don't get a silly-ass count out and go to WrestleMania just to lose to Bret Hart.
I'll be your hero.
Until Bret Hart comes along.
We get the full video.
And the full song. I think our rendition was better. Just about anything would have been.
Basically filled with pro-American guff and Lex checking it up with the young kids.
Yeah, he rides a bus. He works out. He has pictures taken. Sometimes he holds a flag. I think they actually do have a few shots of him staring down Yokozuna. I don't remember if they had the body slam or not. They probably did.
They did.
Okay. It's like Lex Luger. He's kind of like Hulk Hogan, except none of what made Hogan worth watching.
But I will say Luger had the best promos.
Comparatively speaking.
No wonder they called him the total package.
So we follow up the Lex Express video with a SummerSlam commercial. A montage of Yokozuna, leg dropping and bonsai dropping every man that came in his path, including the immortal Hulk Hogan. And now he's out of control. Can Lex Luger bring an end to this reign of terror?
No.
Whoa. We know that, but, the commercial still has to hype it.
Yeah. So let's talk about match number 1, Marty Jannetty.
Yay!
Versus Iron Mike Sharp. I ever wanted to know who the loudest wrestler was in the ring to get his opponent over.
Iron Mike Sharp.
No. Ah! Ah!
Oh, God, I sure hope this guy never had to call a match. He'd probably hear it from the next town over.
You know, I tried watching this match a couple times. I'm just distracted by Sharp's yelling and voice.
Well, between all that, we ended up getting a in-match promo where Marty Jannetty tries to say Ludwig Borga's name properly and then gives up.
Borge.
And because of this, Bobby the Brain spends like the remainder of the match complaining about Jannetty not being able to say Borga.
That gets repeated later on in the show.
Oh no.
But this was your basic power versus speed wrestler, and neither of it was good.
Yeah.
I would like to do play-by-play of this match. Are you ready?
Okay.
Hold by Jannetty.
Ah!
Stall tactic.
No.
Move by Jannetty onto Iron Sharp.
God damn it, Jannetty. Can't you say Borga properly?
Stall.
Ouch!
Atomic drop.
Still Marty Jannetty. Why can't you say Ludwig Borga? It's Borga.
Stall. Face plant.
More screaming.
Stall.
We're still stalling? This is what I don't get. Like, this match just went on and on and on. And only went on for, 5 minutes? And it felt like 9 million years. So where are we, stalling again?
Fist off the top rope for the 3 in exactly 4 minutes.
Okay, I was almost there. 5-4, it's almost the same.
But it felt like death. It was like drawing blood from a stone.
So was Marty Jannetty sober during this match, hopefully?
Well, he's got to fight Ludwig Borge, so probably not.
Don't blame me there.
So now we get the face-to-face segment.
Shawn Michaels with Diesel versus Mr. Perfect in talking head boxes.
Perfect is wrestling Diesel at an MSG show, but Shawn Michaels is wrestling 1-2-3 Kid.
So they make the mistake of letting Diesel talk because this was before he learned how to cut a promo.
It wasn't bad.
It certainly wasn't the Nash promos we'd see later on, where he actually stopped trying to pretend. It's like, we got Nash here being like, oh, I'm this badass. And, it's clearly not his voice. He's too laid back for that kind of shit.
Right. This isn't even Big Daddy Cool Diesel from 95.
Okay, so yeah, it was, like I said, before he learned to cut a promo. I don't even know why they let him talk. It didn't go any well. Speak English, Daria.
No, you're perfectly fine, because Diesel couldn't during this time period.
So it's like Mean Gene asks Diesel about, hey, you vowed you'd never interfere in Shawn Michaels matches, but yeah, got involved in a 6-man tag that he was in. Diesel was in the 6-man tag. Why are you complaining about this? He was in the tag. You can't say someone interferes in a match when they're in the match. Ugh.
It was just bad. And
of course, Mr. Perfect just whines the whole time.
He's like Bret Hart, but not as moany.
That is true. He is definitely channeling, especially like 97 Bret, but without the self-righteousness.
And gravitas to pull it off.
That is true.
So we get to match number 2. Mr. Hughes versus Dan Dubiel. Yes, just when we thought we couldn't get any worse, we get a Mr. Hughes match.
Yay, Mr. Hughes.
I saw him back in 91, 92 when he was wrestling for WCW.
Oh, no, that can't possibly be any better. Who was he there?
Big Cat.
Big Cat?
Yeah.
Okay, I definitely never saw him, but with that name, I don't think I wanted... Who am I kidding? It's Mr. Hughes. I don't want to see this guy. But I guess the blessing of this match is it went short.
Slam, 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 sidewalk slam, win for Hughes, 150, pay me.
Wow, it went 150? Wow, I thought it went like less than a minute.
Thankfully, it went fast compared to the
That's what I mean.
match that went long. All this did was set up the stolen urn storyline because during this time period, Harvey Whippleman's people were feuding with Taker. So Hughes has the urn, and Undertaker has to fight Giant Gonzalez for the Rest in Peace match.
And meanwhile, there's this black wreath out there going to give us the future of Undertaker builds in other much more important shows such as WrestleMania, where we build up with The Undertaker, but The Undertaker isn't actually there.
But Mr. Hughes destroys the wreath. I thought the bill was supposed to be for Undertaker Gonzalez.
You would think, but, at this rate, we're not going to get a good match out of this anyway, and it'd be about, 4 years before Undertaker started getting good opponents, so...
He didn't get a good appointment until Diesel.
We had one in Diesel, and then it was like another 2 years before he started wrestling Austin every other month.
Well, he had Mankind
all the time, and Shawn Michaels before he broke his back, and the talent pool to put up against The Undertaker did not get good until somewhere in 97.
No, I'll say 96, because look at who he was feuding with during 96. Diesel, Mankind, Vader, Sid, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Kane. In that order.
I thought Kane didn't even show up till 97.
That's from WrestleMania 12 to the end of 97.
Okay.
And I'm not including flyby title defenses against Farouk and Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah, I don't think that would be within anybody's interests anyway.
Are you ready for the highlight of the week?
Jerry Lawler talking about how he's the king.
With the king.
Or we should say an Elvis impersonator.
No, we gotta say that he's the real Elvis. Because they all believed he was the real Elvis. Except for when
Jerry
JR tells the
believed
truth.
he was the real Elvis. But then again, Jerry says stupid things all the time. He's Jerry the King Lawler. That's what he does. For some reason, this feud with Bret Hart was considered a big deal, but for whatever reason, I feel like Jerry Lawler knew going in he was going to make this a comedy mid-card bullshit, and Bret Hart just hated him for it.
Because this was also a feud in Memphis. Because
was it taken any more seriously there?
Yes.
I sure hope so, because it's like all it ever seems is Jerry Lawler making these absurd comments and cracking on Bret Hart's mom and going around acting like a goof and wanting people to kiss his feet literally. And then it's like Bret Hart, I swear it's like Bret Hart's going through this entire feud being like, can you stop for 5 minutes and pretend to take this seriously?
Your parents are older than this darn Cadillac.
Well, yeah, maybe, but that's not funny, Jerry.
It's not. This was a bad promo. Another highlight, or low light. Match number 3 is Tatanka versus Bobby Who.
Bobby Who?
That's why I'm asking you, Bobby Who?
Okay, that was a bad attempt at the Doctor Who theme. And yes, this is Bobby Who, and he will never be the Doctor.
This also isn't Jim Neidhart, a.k.a. Who?
There were a lot of wrestling Who's in the 90s.
And who's that?
There was a wrestler named Who's That?
Yes, he was a tag team partner with Bobby Who on an episode of WWF.
Okay, so there's Who, Bobby Who, and then Who's That?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
We got 2 random squashes in a row.
This is Wrestling Challenge. Aren't they always squashes?
Yeah, but you'd figure that as Tatanka being a face, you'd get a little more competition.
It's Tatanka. It's a miracle the boys sold half the time.
Well, he didn't sell here.
Obviously.
Chop, chop, chop. Small comeback. Buffalo's up. End of the trail. 3 count. 150. Pay me.
Let's take a second here. The end of the trail. I understand that WWE and its cultural understandings are laughable at best, but WCW can rightly get stomped to shit over calling a wrestler the final solution, but nobody really ever says anything about Tatanka's finisher invoking the Trail of Tears.
Unless you're Todd Grisham.
Okay, I don't know this story.
He was on ESPN News, and he was talking about the Florida State Seminoles, and said they're going on the Trail of Tears because they lost a football game.
Oh, okay. So I guess this guy took all the heat away from Tatanka for a day. Oh.
This was back in 2008. I think it was 2009.
God. No. So, yes, we just spent the last 2 minutes on a Tatanka match. And what comes next, Cindy?
I gotta do the theme song.
Okay, do the theme song.
The SummerSlam report with Gene Okerlund with the classic SummerSlam theme. You gotta admit, that's a better theme than any generic rock song that they had on there in the past few years for SummerSlam.
Yeah, that is true. WWE, when it comes to generic music, they get like really generic. Da 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 da. Whatever the WrestleMania theme that they still attempt to use sometimes. It sounded like it was like permanently stuck in 1992.
Linda McMahon's theme. That was the WrestleMania theme for a few years.
Yeah, what became known as the Linda McMahon theme.
There were three really good themes around this time. The Big Fours themes. Original WrestleMania theme. Well, not original, but used from WrestleMania 6 to 8.
Right.
The Rumble theme.
Yeah.
SummerSlam theme, and the Survivor Series theme. All of them were whopper.
So we are on the SummerSlam report with me, Gene Okerlund, and we are about to have the card run down for us. And of course, this SummerSlam report is brought to you by the official SummerSlam program, because we couldn't get a real sponsor, apparently.
Right. By the way, you note that number 1 right on the corner? Have you ever played WWF Royal Rumble for the Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis?
No, I've played, the Royal Rumble for SNES, yeah.
When you beat Championship Mode, when you had the magazine cover that says New World Champion,
okay.
There's that one right there. It's a program. It's the WWF magazine, but it's done like a WWF program. Okay.
So that's connected to the actual real-life SummerSlam program with the... Okay, I'm not making the connection here, sorry.
I'm just a big fan of WWF Royal Rumble. I have a couple of speedrun records for it.
Oh, wow, cool.
The bulk of this report is a promo from Superstars.
Ugh. Well, at least Jim Cornette is a good promo.
He talks about who Yoko's laid out. Crush, Jim Duggan, Bret Hart, and most importantly, Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yes. I'm pretty sure no one actually needs to be retold the wrestling history behind all of this, but this SummerSlam that we are about to go to was originally supposed to be headlined by Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan for the WWF title. But Hulk Hogan, being Hulk Hogan, was like, I'm not going to lose to a little guy in pink tights, brother. So he lets Yokozuna Banzai drop him to death at the King of the Ring instead, and now here we are.
Yes, by the way, I did a count on how many people Hulk Hogan put over for the title in his career. WWF and WCW. Guess the number.
Okay, well, I know that the Ultimate Warrior was one of them. Ultimate Warrior, Sting. I think that's it.
Yoko.
Oh, yeah, Yoko. I just said it like 5 minutes ago. Not even 5 minutes ago.
And
okay, so that's 3.
And The Undertaker.
Right, okay. So that's 4. Wait, didn't he lose? No, he lost to Undertaker at the next paper. Yeah,
Judgment Day.
I thought there was a match where he lost to Triple H for the title, but it was actually he won it from Triple H and then dropped it to Undertaker the next month. So that's me getting my timeline wrong.
And just to note the Hogan timeline, Hogan didn't dump the title to anybody until Lex Luger, but I don't really count that because it was just a rating pop title change. Because Hogan won the belt back at Road Wild 97.
He dropped it to the Giant.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't?
Flair did.
Oh.
It was Flair who he dropped it to.
But didn't like literally the first time the Giant faced Hogan, he won and he supposedly got the title, but then it ended up being held up at World War III.
Yeah, but Giant was never really put over. He wasn't put over by Hogan. That was a bullshit finish.
That is true. All right, well,
back to this promo though.
Yes, back to the promo.
After everything is said and done, Macho Man comes out and cuts a promo that is just basically rah rah Luger, rah rah USA.
Lex Luger was too busy being on a bus to be able to come out here and speak his piece. So we send out the Macho Man. Ooh, yeah.
With every other face superstar not named Bret Hart or Lex Luger or Undertaker.
Now, of course, they all came out after Macho Man said his piece. Obviously, they couldn't have come out at the same time because that would have just been a little too much too soon. But it did kind of evoke, like, if, like, maybe, I don't know, you guys, you remember not too long ago, it was like earlier in, like, November, when, like, the Raw roster SmackDown invaded the Raw show with everybody, but there was only, like, half the people we have here. But there was more people with this invasion. With like the SummerSlam one, it actually felt like the entire frickin' roster, whereas because the rosters are so thin these days, it kind of just felt like 15 people showed up.
Well, that's because the arena that they did it in was kind of small too.
Gotcha.
At the end, you see Yoko screaming with his ears closed because they're playing Stars and Stripes Forever, a really crappy version of it, and the fan chants of USA are upsetting him. God, Yoko is amazing.
Well, I mean, I don't know if all those people were shouting at me for no apparent reason just because I just happen to be from another country. I'd probably be upset too.
Bret cuts a promo on Lawler, saying the Lawler is a fake king and will be decapitated at the SummerSlam with all of his family at attendance.
Okay.
After that, Razor cuts a promo on Ted DiBiase, basically saying that DiBiase is blaming Razor for losing to the Kid on Raw and will carve him up.
And then, of course, we get the rest of the card. Shawn Michaels versus Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental title. Steiner's with the Heavenly Bodies for the tag titles. Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez in a Rest in Peace match because somebody in the world decided that we needed to have another Undertaker Giant Gonzalez match. Tatanka and the Smoking Guns versus Bam Bam Bigelow and the Head Shrinkers. The 1-2-3 Kid versus Erwin R. Shyster for some reason. And Marty Jannetty versus Ludwig Borga.
No, Borge.
I was pronouncing the name properly.
Right, but I was trying to make a joke.
Right.
Our main event for the evening is Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels with Diesel versus Rich Myers.
Yay, Rich Myers. So maybe it was just me that noticed this, but like Bobby Who and Rich Myers had like very similar sort of outfits. Like to the point where I thought that maybe they might have been a tag team that just came in here and got split up to do job work.
I'm thinking that's it because usually when they're in the Northeast, they usually get a lot of guys from the independents.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty much anywhere where they go, they usually get like the local job, and they like get like the local guys to do like the job work.
Unless it's matches done by guys like the Brooklyn Brawler, Iron Mike Sharp, Bob Bradley.
Anyway, we have this match with Rich Myers and Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels is doing what Shawn Michaels does when Shawn Michaels. How do I put this nicely? Shawn Michaels is kind of taking it easy today, so he didn't really put in his A game, but because he is Shawn Michaels, still looks good.
A lot of moves, and there's just really nothing to say about this match. Nothing that was interesting about it.
Well, it was so dull that it once again got interrupted by a promo, this time by Mr. Perfect.
To moan.
Again, about Diesel.
He was not even in the match and didn't do anything in the match.
Yeah, and you'd think that he'd be a little more concerned about his Intercontinental Championship match the very next day. It would be the next day from the airing of this show.
Right, they taped this in advance. They booked everything in advance, so you would think everything would be ready to go. But that's the problem with this episode of Wrestling Challenge. Aside from the Luger match, they're going past everything else, except for the 6-man tag with Tatanka and the Guns versus Bam Bam and the Head Shrinkers.
So it's like Mr. Perfect is spending all of this time bitching about Diesel. Now, meanwhile, he has an Intercontinental title match at SummerSlam. Nothing.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Anyway, super kick, pile driver win in about 2.5 minutes. We get one final face-to-face, and we have a dream pairing, folks.
Oh, this is... Yeah.
Luna Vachon and Johnny Polo.
So a little bit of background here. Luna Vachon is the paramour of Bam Bam Bigelow. Johnny Polo, meanwhile, is the manager of Adam Bomb. And at the Madison Square Garden show, and a month from this particular show, Adam Bomb and Bam Bam Bigelow are going to go up against the tag team champions, who will be the Steiner brothers, for the titles. And Luna and Johnny are not quite on the same page about how their respective team is going to take said tag team titles from the Steiners.
All right, it's a battle of the Bickersons, and it was just blah, blah, blah. We're going to win, blah, blah, blah. We're going to win this way, blah, blah, blah. No, we're going to win this way, blah, blah, blah. Fade, blah, blah, blah. See you again in ECW.
Yeah, watching this, I just immediately remembered, like, the angle that brought Luna in was, Raven had a thing with Luna in WWE, and I'm starting to wonder, like, okay, so was this particular face-to-face the basis for that entire bullshit ECW storyline of Luna coming in to help Tommy Dreamer fight Raven and Beulah, even though Beulah didn't wrestle, and Luna could probably eat Stevie Richards for breakfast.
And in the end, Raven still won.
Because Raven always wins. It was ECW versus Tommy Dreamer. TNA Hardcore Justice, the alleged last match ever between Raven and Tommy Dreamer. Who wins? Raven.
EV2.
And that always really annoyed me, because it's like, okay, it's the final match ever, as far as you say. Now, of course, anytime somebody says it's the final match ever, it's not, and he's probably wrestled Raven in Hardcore and House of Hardcore by now. But isn't the babyface supposed to win the final match? Like, isn't that the entire point?
We're so pressed for time that JR pretty much just says goodbye and fade to black. What did you think of the full show?
It was better than the last C show. It was. It at least seemed to have a focus on what it wanted to do. It obviously spent most of its time plugging SummerSlam. No one stood in front of a cheap green screen effect. The commentary was above and beyond most C shows. The wrestling was pretty much what one would expect from a show like this, and we got that wonderful fake Michael Bolton music video featuring Lex Luger sleeping on a bus.
You were my hero!
So, I'd have to say, for a C show, I think that this was a passable effort.
I would agree. The matches, although were pretty dire, it was carried on the power of sing along with me. I'll be your hero.
Until Bret Hart comes along.
I am a zero. Oh.
And to think Lex Luger left the World Bodybuilding Federation for this.
No, the World Bodybuilding Federation closed. That's why he came aboard like this. Well, that's going to wrap it up for another edition of the C-List. Are you ready to enter hell again, Daria?
I don't know. Which version of TNA are we watching?
WCW Worldwide from 95.
Hulk Hogan, Dungeon of Doom.
Yep.
Yeti, probably.
Nope.
No
Pre-Yeti.
Yeti. Okay.
This is pre-Yeti. We'll explain everything next time.
Bye.
Why are people stealing my lines? God damn it.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.